From journalism students at London Metropolitan University, this is Met Today.
Hello and welcome to London Met Today. My name's Leanne and this is Diana.
From journalism students at London Metropolitan University, this is Met Today.
Hello and welcome to Met Today. I'm Diana Adebayo.
And I'm Leanne Carr. Coming up on today's show, we've got all of the top stories and entertainment from around the globe.
We'll look at why knife crime is on the up.
We'll look at the results of the latest Facebook scandal.
And we'll have all the gossip from the entertainment world. But first, here's the news with Courtney Newman.
Theresa May has called an emergency cabinet meeting today. Ministers discussed the UK's response to the suspected chemical weapons attack in Syria. Dozens of Syrians choked to death in the rebel-held suburb of Douma, with aid groups blaming President Bashar al-Assad government for the alleged assault. If the cabinet approves the UK involvement, British forces will join an operation against Syrian targets that US President Donald Trump says will be coming. The former United Airlines security officer who was fired last year after dragging a man off a flight is suing the company. The video of James Long pulling David Dow from the Chicago to Kentucky flight caused an uproar on social media. In the lawsuit, Mr. Long claims he was not trained on how to use force and accuses CDA Commissioner Ginger Evans of defaming him in statements to the media. Carpet-Rite announced this morning that a quarter of its stores will close. The retailer is planning a company voluntary agreement that will allow it to shut down its worst-performing shops and ask for rent concessions on 113 of the stores. The plan is expected to cut 300 jobs amid the store closures. In response to Sadiq Khan's pledge to pedestrianise Oxford Street, Zaha Hadid's architects say the Mayor of London should consider removing traffic from Islington's Upper Street. The proposal is a part of the architect's Walkable London project, which claims that London's major roads would be cleaner and less dangerous in the absence of traffic. Sir Cliff Richard's lawyers say that the BBC's coverage of a raid on the singer's home was a very serious invasion of privacy. In a case that opened in the High Court today, the 77-year-old singer is suing the broadcaster over coverage of police officers raiding his Berkshire apartment in 2014, following an allegation of sexual assault which was later dropped. BBC editors say that they will defend themselves vigorously. Toffee is the new dating app taking singletons by storm, but only those who have been privately educated are able to indulge in its services. The app, which will launch this spring, not only allows users to find love, but also comes with benefits, such as members-only nights out in London clubs and trips to the Chesterton's polo in the park. So, to fight the loneliness that comes with such privilege, Toffee could be the solution to all your problems.
Thanks, Courtney. London has seen an increase in knife crime among teenagers, with 35 fatal stabbings this year.
We're now joined in the studio by Sylvia, who has more information about the knives crime in the capital.
Yes, good afternoon, Leanne and Diana. The Sunday Times has published new figures comparing the crime figures of London and New York. I found that for the first time in modern history, the murder rate in London was higher than the one in the American murder capital. 50 people have been murdered in London this year so far, with 35 of those being stabbed. Knife crime across the country has risen by 21% since September, according to the Office of National Statistics. A report to youth service provision by Sean Berry, Green London Assembly member last year, showed that funding to voluntary sector youth services has gone down by 35%. This could be one of the reasons behind the rising crime, while another could be the fact that there aren't enough police. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has said that the Met has faced £600 million of police cuts in recent years. Patrick Green, head of charity The Bank in Selatra, said the problem lies in social deprivation. He said that if you were to pull a map of the most deprived boroughs, he would guarantee that there is a postcode war there.
So what's a postcode war?
Well, when we're talking about postcode wars, we are talking about rivalries between two or more particular areas in London. There are particular rivalries between Wood Green and Tottenham and Croydon and South Norwood.
So what allegedly are the main causes behind the increase in knife crime?
Well, Beth Murray of Catch-22 charity said that the most of these crimes involve kids getting out of control and are not necessarily linked to organised crime or gangs. Social media also plays an important role in encouraging these fights. If somebody gets stabbed and a video ends up online, it makes them or their friends and family want to retaliate because they've been publicly shamed.
So what's the Mayor said about all of this?
Well, Sadiq Khan actually said that this is a national problem and it actually requires a national solution.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. So once again, Facebook is making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Here we have Anna with the latest.
Hello. So, it might come as a surprise, but Facebook is actually not suffering as much as it could be expected. Following the recent privacy scandals, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg appeared in a 5-hour-long testimony before the Congress on Tuesday. During Zuckerberg's testimony, Facebook shares rose more than 4.5%. As the Time magazine reports, the share price rise from almost $158 to $165 has been the highest one-day gain for the company in the last 2 years. Zuckerberg's first live appearance before the Congress didn't seem to do him any harm either, as his net worth increased by $3 billion in just one day. Yesterday, Zuckerberg appeared before senators for another grilling, which has inspired endless memes going viral online. According to the Financial Times, though, shares continue to rise by 1%. At the moment, Cambridge University has been criticizing his appearances as they claim the organization been publishing researches based on Facebook data for years and that Facebook has yet to provide evidence of any wrongdoing. Today in the morning at 10:45 GMT time, markets were closed and shares stood at $166.32. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Anna. Now up next is Barbara CK with Twitter's trending topics.
Not in my name, Theresa May reached the top trending hashtag of the day. According to BBC, well-placed sources told May looks ready to join the Assad regime in Syria even without the parliament's consent. Twitter community is ready to fight the decision as more and more join the protest. The Entree Grand National Festival, the most popular event in the horse racing calendar, started today, but Animal Aid Charity called for action on Twitter to stop horses from dying in the races. The petition has 42,000 signatures so far. Hashtag God of War. Reviews flood today's Twitter feed as the long-awaited game is out and ready for PlayStation fans to dive in. The game tester site Polygon gave an exceptional 10 out of 10 on the first review in the game, with the headline, one of the 2018's best games is bigger, deeper and more ambitious than its predecessors. Is it going to take over the craze of Fortnite?
Thank you, Barbara. A scheme is being proposed to encourage recycling and cut down on plastic waste in the UK, which would see customers paying more for bottled drinks. Customers would then be able to claim the money back if they return their drinks bottles to the recycled.
This scheme is already operating in 38 countries and campaigners have worked for a decade for its introduction in England. We sent our reporters out onto Holloway Road to ask the public what they thought about the scheme.
I try and recycle as much as possible because I think it's really important. There's so many adverts on the TV and the radio saying, oh, you must recycle, you know. And there was that whale that was washed up that was full of plastic bags and that was like really distressing. So I try and do as much as I can. We have a recycling bin at home and I always try and recycle at work or not get bags, and if I do, try and reuse them just as much as possible because I think it's really important for the future, really.
It's good for the environment. And also it's good to separate I mean at home I have 4 children, so there's a lot of cartons and boxes and plastics, so it's good to separate the recyclable from non-recyclable stuff. Yeah, it's good for the environment mainly, and sometimes I feel sorry that we use this much packaging for everything.
I do because it helps the world with the environment, and why not do it?
I'm concerned about plastic pollution and trying to be a bit more sustainable in my life.
I think if it's worth it, it benefits the environment and anything else, then yeah, absolutely.
It's better for the planet.
And Jono is now here with all of the entertainment news, from Mariah Carey's shocking announcement and the real story behind the stars of The Real Full Monty and all of the latest Kardashian drama. Jono, over to you.
Thank you very much. Mariah Carey, one of the most successful divas of all time, has revealed for the very first time that she has been suffering with bipolar disorder. The 48-year-old singer was first diagnosed in 2001, however she tells that she didn't want to believe it and that she lived in denial and isolation, and that she constantly lived in fear that someone would expose her, and there are rumours that that was one of her exes. It was only recently that she decided she couldn't carry the burden anymore and sought help after feeling lonely and sad. She says that she is back to doing what she loves, making music, after battling through the hardest time of her life. In other news, ITV's The Real Monty has been criticised after its stars pocketed £10,000 each when they only raised £4,000 for the breast cancer charity. The television fundraiser saw stars like Megan McKenna, Colleen Nolan and Victoria Derbyshire perform cabaret strip teasers to raise money. However, it has been revealed that they took more than they made. ITV says that The Real Full Monty show's clear focus and aim was raising awareness about cancer and encouraging people to make vital health checks which can save lives, and have since taken any mention of charity off all promotions about the show. And now to the talk of Twitter, the latest from the Kardashians. America's most hated man is now no longer Donald Trump, but Tristan Thompson. The boyfriend of Khloe Kardashian has been found cheating on his pregnant girlfriend with multiple women, and it has been rumoured that Khloe has gone into labour after hearing the shocking news. To add insult to injury, one of the girls Tristan cheated with is now reporting she is pregnant with his child, but Khloe told her followers that she will let Tristan be there for the birth.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Sports now, and we can go to our chief football correspondent, Patrick Kelly-Burton, who's outside Arsenal's Emirates Stadium with all the European football news.
Arsenal are in Europa League action tonight. They play over in Russia for the second leg of their Europa League quarter-final against CSKA Moscow. Here at the Emirates Stadium last week, they won the first leg 4-1, a brace from Aaron Ramsey and 2 goals by Alex Lacazette. It's put Arsenal in a commanding position to see themselves through to the last 4. But they'll have to do the second leg without Granit Xhaka. He's suffering from an illness reportedly, so he won't feature. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is eligible to play for Arsenal in this competition. CSKA Moscow fullback Kirill Nababikin is back from suspension, so he could feature for CSKA tonight. But Arsenal remain in a strong position to see themselves through to the last 4, that barring a miracle really in Moscow tonight. Last night in the Champions League, Juventus' stunning comeback was dramatically cancelled out. That from a 97th minute penalty that was converted by Cristiano Ronaldo. He slotted expertly to the left of Wojciech Szczesny, who came on in place of Gigi Buffon, who was sent off from mass confrontation basically that sparked out as a result of Benatia taking down Lucas Vazquez in added time. Mario Mandzukic put the Italian champions 2-0 up on the night. That after just 37 minutes, and then Blaise Matuidi added a third on the hour mark to send shockwaves around the Bernabeu. But it was that moment in added time that see Real Madrid grab their opportunity and book their place into the Champions League semi-finals. On Tuesday night, Manchester City lost their 3rd game in a row in all competitions. They lost 2-1 to Liverpool at the Etihad Stadium, so suffering a 5-1 aggregate defeat, a complete humiliation really for Manchester City. They had the start that they needed. Gabriel Jesus put the citizens ahead after just a couple of minutes, and they should have really had a second. Manchester City. Leroy Sané had the ball in the back of the net after a deflected shot off James Milner fell to him to prod home, but that was disallowed wrongly for offside. Pep Guardiola was in the stands for the second half after confrontation with the referee at half-time. And really from there it went downhill for Manchester City. Mo Salah scored to make it 1-1 on the night before Roberto Firmino put Liverpool 2-1 up, and it completed a 5-1 win for Liverpool in that tie. Finally, Roma rose from their ruins in the Stadio Olimpico. They won 3-0 against Barcelona, a shock win for Roma, and they won as a result of an aggregate scoreline of 4-4, and it was their goal in the Nou Camp by Edin Dzeko that's seen them crucially go through. Edin Dzeko scored twice for the Yellow and Reds on the night, and that before Carlos Manelos headed home. Yellow and Reds on the night, and that before Carlos Manelos headed home 8 minutes from time to complete a shock win for Roma. Here at Arsenal, they've done their job last week. They need to go over to Moscow tonight to complete and book their place into the semi-finals. That all kicks off tonight at 8:05. My name is Patrick Kelly-Burton. I'm here outside Arsenal's Emirates Stadium.
And now here's Roma with the weather. Hopefully you've got some good news for us.
Thank you. The weather will remain rather cold, cloudy and humid throughout the day. Today it will be majorly cloudy, cool and mist with hill and coastal fog patches and small chances of showery outbreaks of rain. There are chances of some brighter intervals later through the day. The maximum temperature for today will rise to 15 degrees. Tonight will include low clouds and hill fog throughout the evening and overnight, along with further outbreaks of rains and showers. The minimum temperature will be 7 degrees. As for the weekend, it will begin with warm sunshine but heavy and thundery showers developing later on Saturday. Sunday will start with bright sunshine later in the day with forecast for heavy showers on Monday, turning warmer and windier. As for travel, there is good service on all lines on the Overground, Underground and TfL rail. However, over the weekend there is partial closures on the District line, London Overground, Metropolitan, TfL rail over the weekend from Saturday until Sunday. The other lines are running as usual with no delays or closures. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Roma. That's all we've got time for today. We hope you enjoyed the show and would love to hear your feedback.
You can join in the conversation on Facebook or Twitter at Met Journalism. Have a great day. It's goodbye for me, Diana.
And me, Leanne. Goodbye.
From journalism students at London Metropolitan University, this is Met Today.